you ever told yourself, next time I'll be disciplined, next time I won't take bad trades, next time I'll be more patient, and then you still end up taking bad trades? And then your chart just ends up looking like this, loss after loss after loss. If you've done this, you probably know that discipline isn't just a switch that you can turn on and off. If it were that simple, every trader would be profitable within months of starting. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what is happening in your brain and how you can change those processes in the brain. Because discipline isn't just a character trait or something you have or don't have. It's a set of neural processes in everyone's brain, and you can actually train them if you understand them well enough. When people talk about impulsivity, they're really talking about when your brain's go signals overpower your wait signals. So what do I mean by that? Well, there are two major parts of the brain that we need to be thinking about when we think of discipline and impulsivity. One of the main parts is the prefrontal cortex. It's pretty much the CEO of the brain. It evaluates the situation, it makes a plan for the situation, and it acts rationally and logically for the long-term interests of you. The other important part of the brain is the limbic system. The limbic system is on the inside of the brain, just not on the outer layers. It includes many structures, including olfactory bulb, amygdala, hippocampus, hypothalamus, basal ganglia, the cingulate gyrus. That's not important, though. You just need to know that it's the limbic system, and the limbic system is the one that's sending the go signals, which are telling you to go after your short-term interests. Essentially, instant gratification. And then the prefrontal cortex is what's telling you to stop. It's what's telling you to wait for a better setup. So let's think of a situation in trading where we can apply this. Say we're right here. You see this massive price spike. So your limbic system will just immediately light up and start firing, at least if you haven't trained it. And you'd probably enter a long position right about here. Probably right here, you'd enter a long position after you saw this massive candle. And you would get stopped out, obviously, because you just entered after a massive up move. And you knew it was a bad trade. Anyone who does this knows it's a bad trade. They know that it's unlikely to play out. But they still take it because their limbic system is just lighting up so strongly. It's sending such strong signals around the brain telling it to go and telling it that there's a huge reward waiting for you if you just take the trade. Now let's say you build discipline through what I'm about to talk about. If you have discipline, your prefrontal cortex would send strong signals around your brain saying we need to wait. And those would overpower the go signals from the limbic system. And you'd wait. You'd wait until price action calmed down. You'd wait, and you probably wait long enough for this massive down close candle to tell you that longs were not a good idea. Maybe you waited for right here, down here around this area, got in longs. Maybe you saw a nice plan that fit in with your strategy. You'd enter longs right here. So that's what you can do when your prefrontal cortex is strong, rather than just entering up here. By now you're probably wondering how you can take advantage of this knowledge of which parts of the brain are important for what functions. Well, when I talk about signals being sent through the brain, I'm really talking about circuits being activated. So I'm talking about the prefrontal cortex. There are circuits that run from the prefrontal cortex to the limbic system, which is in here. So they run through the middle of the brain into the limbic system. And these circuits are able to calm down the limbic system. So when it sends wait signals, what it's doing is it's sending signals to calm down the limbic system. And the limbic system is sending signals to the entire brain to just get in the trade. It's saying, this is a good opportunity. You can make money here. Get in the trade. And sending them everywhere. It's obviously a lot more complicated than that, but I'm not going to be able to go over those, the way they communicate, because that would make this video way too long. But these circuits, when they're used, they're strengthened. So every time they're used, there's a process called neuroplasticity that occurs, and it makes these connections stronger. And what that means is that the next time they're used, they require less input and they have stronger signals. In other words, you don't need as much willpower for your prefrontal cortex to activate and for it to send strong signals down to your limbic system and to quiet it down. The goal then becomes this: intentionally engage your prefrontal cortex regularly, whether that's with meditation, working memory training, or any other activity that is known to gain your prefrontal cortex. I'll make another video going over the most powerful methods for strengthening your prefrontal cortex and taking away control from your reward system. But today I just wanted to go over the mechanisms that occur, because you need to understand the mechanisms before you understand how to manipulate them. All right, so the main takeaways from this video. First, discipline is a set of neural processes. 2, the prefrontal cortex and limbic system are most important. 3, connections between prefrontal cortex and limbic system can be strengthened with use.